the private sector and leveraging technology. So my fellow Liberians, this is what we offer you. This is what I want you to think about.
Make a change, yeah, for the motherland, for you and me, yeah, for the motherland. Make a change, yeah, for the motherland, for you and me, yeah, for the motherland. Make a change, yeah, for the motherland, for you and me, yeah, for the motherland. Make a change, yeah, for the motherland.
I'm Alexander B. Cummings, and I'm running for president of the Republic of Liberia.
It's not again, though, yeah. Oh. Every day, every day. I see my people working hard every day. And I pray that our leaders will bring us back a brighter day. Say, end the corruption, bring your children protection. A new direction, we need a new direction. Say, make a change, yeah, for the motherland, for you and me, yeah, for the motherland. Make a change, yeah, for the motherland, for you and me, yeah, for the motherland. Make a change, yeah, for the motherland, for you and me, yeah, for the motherland. Make a change, yeah, for the motherland, for you and me, yeah, for the motherland.
The best predictor of future performance and future behavior is past performance and past behavior. And as Liberians go to the poll on October 10th, I ask you to keep those two truths in mind and answer some of these hard questions about why we are where we are after 170. We have to do some things differently if we want a different country.
Make a change, yeah, for the motherland, for you and me, yeah, for the motherland. Make a change, yeah, for the motherland, for you and me, yeah, for the motherland. Make a change, yeah, for the motherland, for you and me, yeah, for the motherland. Make a change, yeah, for the motherland, for you and me, yeah, for the motherland.
Who will go below the surface, who will understand the economics of our country, who will focus on the how we can change our country. And that involves bringing all Liberians together. We call it hearts and minds. That involves finding the money. It will require funds, money to do the things we need to do. It will require a government of inclusion. It will require growing the private sector and leveraging technology. So my fellow Liberians, this is what we offer you. This is what I want you to think about.
Make a change, yeah, for the motherland, for you and me, yeah, for the motherland. Make a change, yeah, for the motherland, for you and me, yeah, for the motherland. Make a change, yeah, for the motherland, for you and me, yeah, for the motherland. Make a change, yeah, for the motherland, for you and me, yeah, for the motherland.
We have to do
God,
things differently
thank you.
Yeah,
so indeed, folks, making the time, 6 minutes past 6 o'clock from what I said on broadcast, and let me say a pleasant, which one am I talking in, like, serious day, day? Yeah, sorry indeed, today.
Neighbor, can you hear us?
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, I'm trying to get the mark. Everything set. Please don't get this. Yeah, so in the 6 minutes down 6 o'clock, and today is the last day though in the month of September. Can you imagine? 30 days of September and the other month. Some of you there, I don't know what are you learn. Some of these things, I'll be asking Steve later on. So what are you learn about the 30 days in a month? But how be it first? Let me say a pleasant good evening to all of you, our dear channel listeners. Those of you there are the Liberia Guinea border, Liberia Africa Coast border, and other Liberia and Sierra Leone border. Let me say a pleasant good evening to you. Welcome to the program, the SKTV. And in fact, 10 more days to go. Wow, I can't believe. But anyway, let me see how better to get connected with my team and see how we can start this show. Sekou and Steve, I don't know what are you people getting me. Let me say a pleasant good evening from my end here and good morning, good afternoon to you guys.
Thank you very much, Melbourne, and thank you to everybody listening to us in Liberia and around the world. We want to say thank you to all of you for following SKTV on this very important day. Today, we are privileged and opportune to have with us Mr. Alexander B. Cummings, the presidential candidate, the standard bearer for the collaborating political parties, one of the top 3 candidates for the presidency, or someone who could potentially be the next president of Liberia in the next couple of weeks. So it is an opportunity and a great pleasure to have Mr. Cummings with us today. On that note, let me go to my colleague here, Mr. Steve Bully. My man, what's going on, man? What is your expectation? Well, wait, today is I would say, quote unquote, the final push for Mr. Cummings on SKTV before the election, before the Liberian held to the poll. However, we will actually appreciate if we could have at least a post-election interview of Mr. Cummings on SKTV as well, whether before the second round or right after the first round, whatever the case may be. We want to know exactly what happened during the course of the election, how Mr. Cummings is going to react to the result of the election, whether he's going to come first or second within the first round. We don't know yet. But again, today is a big day. Liberians around the world are gathering to listen to a final argument of Mr. Cummings as to the reason why he is the choice of the Liberian people, or he should be the choice of the Liberian people. But Steve, how are you doing, and what are your expectations?
Well, Mr. Kana, good afternoon, good evening, good morning to our viewers and listeners around the world. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for following us on SKTV. We appreciate all you do. But most importantly, to the Liberian people, those of you listening to us via radio, we say thank you for tuning in today as we're playing host to Mr. Alexander B. Cummings, the leader or standard bearer of the CPP and one of the contenders for the presidency of Liberia. We want to say thanks to the CPP for affording us the opportunity to interview or to interact with their leader, especially in the middle of campaign and what they have tomorrow going on, the rally and all that extra stuff. They still work with us to make time for him to appear on SKTV. We're grateful. We appreciate it. We want to say, as always, the Liberian people are the most important people on earth. That's just the fact of the matter. And also, we want to appreciate the Liberian women because we know they're the most beautiful women on earth. You can't beat that. It's the fact also. But notwithstanding, my expectation today is to hear from Mr. Cummings about, his plans. We've said it. We talk about the bread and butter issue here. We'll talk about the bread and butter issues with Mr. Cummings, especially from a global standpoint, to get Liberia to where Liberia needs to be, to restore hope, to restore some relationships that might have been broken or that might have been shattered or cracked, however you want to term it as, with our partners. And most importantly, what a Cummings administration will do to better the lives of the day-to-day Liberian people. That means my Oma them, my Papa them, my Keke boys, the motorcyclists, the Yana boys, the students who are graduating, and even the old folks, along with the yesterday briefly we spoke about the people who are challenged physically, whether from a mental standpoint or those who are handicapped or so forth. We definitely want to hit all sides here today, as long as it concerns Liberia. So This is the conversation I look forward to. I look forward to a stimulating, educative, and informative conversation from Mr. Cummings, as always. And most importantly, the truth to the Liberian people.
Thank you so much, Steve. And before we bring on the guest, Mr. Cummings is always on time, and every time he promises to come on, he always uh, on time. So Mr. Cummings is here. But before going to Mr. Cummings, let's hear from Melbourne. Melbourne, what's going on in Liberia? Just in 1 minute.
Thank you, Sekou and Steve. Yes, there are a lot of things happening in Liberia, especially when it comes to the issue of campaign. So the campaign activities is still ongoing, and for my fact will be ending on the 8th of September. And the CPP, or the Collaborating Political Party, will be having their victory rally on tomorrow by the grace of the Almighty God. So there are a lot of Liberians who are supporting the CPP tomorrow. They'll be turning out on tomorrow at the Antoinette Todman Stadium, or the ATS for short, and which, of course, on today, the John Security had a press conference informing Liberians about the CPP political rally on tomorrow. That yes, on tomorrow, Central Maneuver will be politically charged on tomorrow based on the victory rally of the CPP on tomorrow. So far so good, Steve and Sekou. These are things happening in Liberia. And pertaining to LOFA also, the Joint Security also talk about that. But hopefully on Monday, they said in fact, we're going to hear a lot of things coming from them on Monday pertaining to what happened in LOFA investigation. In fact, they already sent a team of investigators in LOFA to talk, or in fact, to go into what happened in LOFA on yesterday. So far, so good. Liberia is kind. We are doing great. We are all okay here.
Thank you so much, Melbourne. Thank you, Steve. And thank you, my Liberian people from Liberia and around the world. I want to welcome you to SKTV once again. Today, we are privileged to have with us Mr. Alexander B. Cummings. Mr. Cummings, good evening to you in Liberia there. How are you doing?
I am fine, Sekou. Good to be with you again, Steve. Good to see you as well, Melbourne. Although we are both in LIB, it's still good to see you. Looking forward to the conversation. I think, as Steve suggested in his opening remarks, we are in the midst of preparing for tomorrow, midst of campaigning. So it's a very, very hectic time. But it's always good to come and talk to you guys and share our thoughts with your audience, and to continue to engage the Liberian people in this journey to transform our country. So I'm excited and ready to go.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Cummings, as always. And it is always a pleasure that you always answer to our calls whenever we call you, and especially on the short notice, you always, respond positively. We really appreciate that as an institution. Like we said, hopefully, our President Cummings will also be responsive, as we have always been, to us and to many platforms in Liberia. So, Mr. Cummings, I'm going to start this conversation with this whole election integrity. People are caring, people are fired up, people are happy and excited to go to the pool. And the most important things in this whole thing, the most important thing in the election is the election integrity. How election going to be peaceful, how it's going to be transparent, how every vote is going to be counted that will yield a fruitful result, an acceptable result by the Liberian people. Can you speak to the election integrity? Do you have any doubt? And if there's any, what are you doing to make sure that this election is free, fair, and transparent, and that will yield, and also that will prove the will of the Liberian people?
Yeah, Sekou, Steve, Melbourne, to be honest, I'm very concerned about elections integrity. And I have been talking about this for a long time. And the first way I want to start is to remind the Liberian people, to remind President Weah, to remind the CDC administration that it is ultimately their responsibility to ensure that these elections are free, fair, and transparent. President Weah has the constitutional obligation to make sure that happens. The National Elections Commission reports to the executive branch. He appoints all of the commissioners. He has control of the National Police, the Customs, the Immigration, the National Security Agency, all of the policing, security apparatus reports to the President of Liberia. The Liberian military reports to him. So it is his obligation, it is his constitutional right. He has to make sure it's safe, fair, and transparent. And again, I want to remind Liberians that it's not my responsibility, the opposition responsibility, Sheku Kane, Steve's, Mayborn, it is President Weah's responsibility. From the point of the CPP, we will play our role in the sense that we will do the best we can to monitor the elections, to have poll watchers everywhere. But Seku is expensive. It is a logistical challenge to organize that. We will do our best to monitor the elections, to protect ourselves, more importantly, to protect the Liberian people. But the government has the resources, and they have to ensure that it is. But I have concerns. I have concerns around the fact that the voter rolls have not been released. And gentlemen, elections are a week from Tuesday. This should have been released weeks ago. You gotta be suspicious as to why it hasn't been released. So first concern. Other concern, I've said often that all of the commissioners are appointed by the president. Historically, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf allowed the opposition to nominate 3 of the 7 commissioners. The current chair was nominated at the time by the CDC by President Weah, at the time in opposition. She is chair today. That didn't happen. So again, the commissioners may all be good, may all have integrity, but it creates a cloud. Funding of the election, the commissioners has complained about logistical funding to get the ballots and stuff out. They want to use the military. I want to go on record by saying we are opposed to that. President Weah can take almost the entire executive branch to a United Nations General Assembly, yet they can't find money to fund the election, which is, again, their constitutional duty to do so. So lots of concerns around elections integrity, Sekou, Steve, and Mayborn. Again, we'll do the best we can to try to protect the Liberian people. All we want is that when the results are announced, it reflects the will of the people. And if the will of the people is reflected through their vote, we will accept the outcome. We believe we will make the runoff and ultimately win the election, but that's up to the Liberian people. And as long as Liberians are convinced that the results reflect their will, we, the CPP, I, the General Committee, will accept that outcome. Comfortable, confident that it will be me, but in the unlikely case that is not, I'll accept the outcome, again, assuming free, fair, and transparent. But it's up to the president. He should not forget the recent history of our country. The beginning of the unraveling of Liberia started with the 1985 election. President Weah, seditions, you all don't do this to Liberia. You all make sure this election is free, fair, and transparent, and you all provide the resources to fund the election. There's no excuses. Apparently, the president has either purchased or rented a helicopter, yet the Elections Commission doesn't have money to distribute the ballots and wants to use the military. That is just not acceptable. Not acceptable. So we have some serious concerns, Sekou, to answer your question.
So, Mr. Cummings, my second question to you will also be about the same election integrity, because without good preparedness, without election integrity, without free and fair and transparent election, that leads to election violence. And yesterday we saw pre-election violence, which was unfortunate. We learned that 2 were confirmed dead, and we Also learned that several people were injured. And some of these things derive from the utterances from the candidates, especially leaders, as it was done by candidate Joso Nyima Boakai recently, who threatened the existence of Liberia. And now we are seeing people now attacking each other, and they are kind of trading allegations as to who actually started. Are you concerned about election violence, whether pre or post election?
Yes. Look, as leaders, anywhere in the world, guys, uh, words matter. What we say as leaders matter. What we do, how we act, those things matter. And, you know, the former vice president, I know well. Perhaps he misspoke. I don't know. But shame on him for the words he uttered. Uh, we all gotta be very careful what we say. Things are tense. We're close to a pivotal election. The temperature is rising. The tension is growing, and everything we say is important, right? And to make a statement that the country will end if the outcome isn't what he wants, I think it's irresponsible, to be honest. Um, and it's not good for our country. Knowing, again, the recent history of Liberia, knowing the violence around elections, around Africa, around the world, even the the great United States, where you all are. I mean, Johnson, Mayborn are here in Liberia, but the two of you in the U.S., what happened around January 6th? It was around elections. The allegations, that the elections were not free and fair. And in that country, you saw the issues that happened on the Capitol. Just imagine a fragile country like ours for people to make those statements, or what the statements Prince Johnson and others made. Although Prince Johnson, we're not surprised, given his history, that he would make the kind of statements he made. But yes, we are concerned about that, and I will do my best in the remaining time to be very careful in my utterances. As I said earlier, gentlemen, um, for speaking for myself, for Councillor Bromskin, for the CPP, we just want the will of the people to be reflected in the results. And once that's the case, we will accept the outcome. And we will be responsible in our utterances. I'm saying in this very public manner that tomorrow will be peaceful. The ANC, the CPP, the Liberty Party, we're known for being law-abiding. We're known for rule of law. It's part of our ethos. And we know our people will be peaceful coming out tomorrow and throughout the remaining time of this process. And so, yes, concerned about those utterances, my heart and sympathy goes out to the family of those that lost their lives. But I call on all of us political actors, let's please be responsible. Let's please keep the emotions down. Let's please tell our people to follow the rules, to obey the law. And certainly, on behalf of the CPP, that message is loud and clear. People know that it's not something we tolerate. Political violence is not worth anybody's life to be politically violent.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cummings. So, folks, if you just joining us, this is SKTV coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. We are live on Truth FM 96.1. We are being listened to and followed by Liberians from all walks of life in the entire country and some part of Ivory Coast and Guinea on the radio, and on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. You can follow SKTV and you'll be part and parcel of this conversation. I want to say thank you to all of you for following SKTV. Steve? we back to you. Give us two questions. Let's
Thank you,
let's
Mr. Kane.
let's get together.
I'd like to start the conversation. Normally, I would start with a very important issue, but I like to start with the most recent, not only condemnation. I wouldn't use the word threat in this context, but a publication from Anthony Blinken, who's the Secretary of State of the U.S. In his statement, I'll paraphrase that there would be visa restrictions as part of the measures for both families and those who are found culpable of creating problems in our elections and so forth. Mr. Cummings, this presents a bad image of Liberia to the world, whether we agree with it or not. In the Cummings administration, how do you intend to help clean up the image of Liberia to other parts of the world so that at least this can enable some sanity, some seriousness, and put us back on track as a nation? What do you say?
So, thank you, Steve. First of all, I say the Americans are sending a warning, for context. And I know you know this, and perhaps most Liberians in our listening audience know that the Americans are our longtime friend in global diplomacy, in the global world. We are considered to be part of the American area of influence, if you will. We can debate whether we want to be or not, or whether we should be taught about that way. But for now, that's kind of the reality, right? And so the message and the signals the Americans send has repercussions, not just with regards to our relationship with America, Steve, or what are Liberians who are deemed to be criminals, if you will, or interfere with our elections or commit some other crime. Stop them from getting American visas, but they will likely not get Canadian visas or European visas as well, because these other countries will take their cue from the U.S. in terms of their relationship with Liberia. So this is much broader than just the United States visa sanctions, if you will. It will be much broader. And that is a message to President Weah and the CDC, again, as I started off, to Seku's question about elections integrity, to make sure this election is free, fair, and transparent. It is their responsibility. So shame on us that, and get into your question on that, the Americans feel this obligation to try to be preemptive, to try to warn in advance that, they don't want to see this election being tampered with, being corrupted in any way. But Steve, our Cummings administration will do everything per the Liberian rules and regulations, per our constitution. Steve, that is who I am. That's the world I grew up in. I was blessed, and again, it wasn't a choice. I was blessed to have parents who started from very humble beginnings, but believe in hard work, in integrity. My father, I always remind people, in his late 40s, early 50s, went full-time into the priesthood. She's a very Christian person. And my mother, follow the law, work hard, obey the rules. That is my fabric. And in our manifesto, we talk about the rule of law. We talk about doing things by the book. We talk about setting the example. My reputation in the private sector, in the corporate world, starting from an analyst at the Pillsbury Company when I was in my early 20s, to where I ended up at the Coca-Cola Company, where I was audited, where I managed billions of dollars literally over my career, where there was no stealing, no corruption, no nothing. The Americans will know, Liberians will know, I'm serious about following the rule of law. And we'll conduct the business of Liberia per the Constitution, per the rule of law, and there will be no need. When I become president, I will go back to the practice that Madam Salif did of allowing the opposition to nominate commissioners to the National Elections Commission to give if I will revisit the whole election commission process to make it more independent of the executive branch. I have no fear of doing that. I want to say this in this public fashion, that we'll revisit all the laws. We will add the word independent. So we'll call that commission the Independent National Elections Commission, because we'll structure it in a way that it will have a fair amount of autonomy from whoever's the ruling power, whether it's Alexander Cummings or somebody else, so that Liberians can be assured that their will be reflected in the results that are announced. And so you can, I know this is recorded, and you can play it back that we will revisit the whole election law and that whole process to ensure even more independence than today, so that there will be no need for any country, Americans or otherwise, to threaten to sanction us. If we don't conduct our own election free and fairly, shame on us that somebody else got to do it too. That should be something we should do. We should be proud of. I mean, and I'm confident, Steve, that I will do the right things while running Liberia. That if I run for re-election in 2020, I'll get re-elected. And if I don't, it's okay. We want the will of the people. I promise you, I'm very serious about this. That we gotta just do things the right way. There's all this cocoa-tea thing, trying to stack the deck. I have no interest in that. It's about merit. It's about doing the right things, and then let Liberian people decide who they want to lead them, to serve them.
Yeah, just before we get to what is the rally, I know we'll come back here for the second or third times questioning. I want to ask you about this issue of independence. Since you spoke of independence, that was one of my questions. Mr. Cummings, what do you make of empowering Liberia in terms of whether it's spraying out the government, like somebody will say, I'll put it in our simple terms, wherein, the people in Nima County, they can be able to deal with Nima County issue, expanding the government or empowering the people, the local magistrate and other people. Would Mr. Cummings revisit these things and these policies as to make sure that Liberians are fully in charge of their decision making at the local level, and then it will trickle down to the administration in Monrovia or so forth? What is Mr. Cummings' administration's view of?
Yeah, so Sekou, we will do that. It is part of decentralizing the country. And I've said this publicly, and I'll say this again, that one of the things I will be known for, I want to be known for many things. And maybe we'll touch on some of them today, Steve. But I want to be known for the president that decentralized the country, that pushed authority down to local leaders, local administrators. I want to be the president that actually manifests this statement that Monrovia is not Liberia. I want to be the guy, the president that actually makes that happen. So that when people say Monrovia is not Liberia, it's actually true, because we have pushed out, we have decentralized authority. But Steve, I will also do it in a very deliberate and a very methodical way. It's not something you just flip a switch. You just say tomorrow everything decentralized and we get authority. That will be recipe for chaos. When you have been centralized for so long, you have to methodically, deliberately, step-by-step decentralize. You got to make sure the capability and the capacity of the people to administer is there. Otherwise, you will get complete chaos. It will be the opposite, right? You got to identify those things that make sense to do centrally, where scale matters, numbers. And then those things, and I'm glad you're shaking your head, you get it, where those things that you can quickly decentralize and let people own it. So we will do it. That is our goal and destination. My only emphasis is we'll be methodical, we'll be deliberate, we'll be systematic about how we'll do it over time. So that when it happens, we're actually better off. We are more effective and more efficient as a country, as a people. And we're not decentralized just for decentralized sake. We're decentralizing, we're devolving authority so that things can be better, it can work better, so that Liberians can feel the impact of the government better, right? So we just have to be methodical about it, systematic, but that is the goal, that is the destination. And we will do it, and Liberia will see it happening. You will see it slowly, but capacity and capability is important. And we want to make sure we're not just doing it just to be doing it, but that it improves the lives of our people. They feel more accountable. They own the problems, they own the solutions. And that's how we'll do it. Am I making sense? I hope I am.
Yes, Mr. Kane, just before Mr. Cummings, just before.
Maybe you can put in simple English for me, Steve.
Just before I put it back over to Sekou, are you saying to the Liberian people, because these things close to elections, we want to keep you on record and so forth, are you saying you are willing to actualize this saying, power to the people?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Answer absolutely yes, But I also say, since it's on the record, that we'll do it methodically. We'll do it systematically. We'll do it over time. We're not just coming and say everything decentralized now, the mayor, Sunny Quilly, or the superintendent can do anything he wants. We will just methodically do it, but yes, to answer your question, but over time and methodically and systematically.
Thank you. Sekou, it's up to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Cummings, and thank you, Steve. Thank you, Mayborn. And thank you, folks, for following.
We lost Mayborn. He went to
No,
get a drink or
no, Mayborn is there. Mayborn just stepping away to maybe to drink water. But Mayborn is there.
Mayborn was drinking something that it didn't look like water to me.
Oh. Was it in a red cup or what?
I don't know. In a cream bottle. I don't know.
All right, Mr. Cummings, thank you so much, and thank you, folks, for listening and following SKTV. Some of you who are here, you're not sharing the show. You got to continue to share the show, because I'm seeing a lot of people coming on because Mr. Cummings is here today, but we want to make sure that everybody follow and everybody is part of this particular conversation. Mr. Cummings, with all the good things you have said for the past, let's say, how many years you've been around now, the name Cummings is a household name when it comes to politics. But yet, one of the questions that people continue to ask is that, oh, Cummings is good. Cummings is administrator. Cummings work in corporate America. Cummings improve Coca-Cola. Cummings did X, Y, and Z. He managed a lot of money. The budget of which could triple or quadruple the budget of Liberia as a country, but they may not get government experience. They may want to start as representative. They may want to run for senator first. They may want to serve in some kind of ministerial position, maybe finance minister. So people are saying government experience is the only challenge, is the only disqualifier in the opinions of your detractors. So what can you say to Liberian people when it comes to government experience and running as president? What is really the problem here? Is there anything missing?
So, the first thing I'll say to that is, if government experience was a solution to Liberia's problems, we would have the best country in the world. Because that's all most of our leaders today know is government experience. And yet we are among the poorest countries in the world. Liberia is 176 years old, gentlemen. The oldest republic in Africa, and we're amongst the least developed countries on the continent and in the world. So how do you say government experience matters when all the people who are in power today have government experience and the country is among the worst? I mean, it defies logic. President Weah was a senator, quote unquote, before he became president. The president today, our country has gone backwards. It's regressed with the quote unquote government experience he had. Former Vice President Boyka was in government for 42 years. Can he point to some significant accomplishment he made in government? So I want Liberians we are consumed by this thing called government. And we keep doing the same thing and expect different results. It will not change, my people. If you just keep doing the same, what expect it to change, it will not change. Right? And so, look, we will have people, and there are people around me with government experience. We'll get some. But we need to do some things differently. And what needs to be different about Liberia, Sekou, is we need to grow the economy. We need what they call a private sector led. That means the economy got to be grown by businesses, Liberian businesses, entrepreneurs, foreign businesses, foreign companies. That's what needs to be different. That's where the jobs need to be created, not in government. I think I heard of somebody say that the way our government said they created so many jobs in government. Wrong. That's the wrong construct. Right? You cut some people's salary to hire more people. It makes no sense. Let the people who in government, let them do their job, pay them well. Let's create jobs somewhere else. Let's create alternatives, right? So this government experience stuff, that's not the solution to Liberia's problems. right? The experience I bring is what will make a difference. We'll have people who have come and students around me to help bridge that gap, if you will. But look, see, let me tell you some similarities and differences, Stephen, Siku, sorry,
It's okay.
between government and the private sector. In both situations, to be successful, right, you need to hire good people. You need a good team. Whether it's your cabinet, the deputy minister, whatever the team, the head of agencies. In the private sector, you need a good team, right? You need to be clear on what your priorities are. What do you want to achieve? What you're trying to accomplish? What are your goals, right? In the private sector, you need to do that. In government, I don't know if they do it or not, but you need to be clear what you want to achieve, your goals, your objectives. In the private sector, in the public sector, should be the same. You want to hold people accountable for delivering those results. You want to measure them. You want to make sure people are on track. In the private sector, you have your customers and your consumers that you have to satisfy. In the government, you got the voters that you got to satisfy. In the private sector, you got the management and you got the board of directors that manage the enterprise. In government, for me, the executive branch are the managers. The legislators should be the kind of the board of governors that governs the first branch of
Yep.
government. Those are kind of the similarities between the two. But then you gotta know how the private sector works, how you create an environment for businesses to thrive so that they can create jobs, they can pay taxes. And that's my area. I know how to do that. That's what Liberia needs. We need to grow the economy. We need job creation. We need to reduce the cost of living. We need to know how to hold our foreign investors accountable so we get full value from our natural resources. And so this is what we offer. You could argue, Joe, we are area that was sports. Maybe Western Boca area that government, but the government thing, I don't know why it's not for us. My area that the economy, that the private sector. And that's what Liberia needs now. And that's why I'm confident, gentlemen, despite, the political class, they're fighting also because they know we threaten their way of life. We threaten the way they do things, right? Whether it's the CDC, the UP, or other people, it doesn't matter. Liberians are ready for change. We'll surprise people tomorrow, which I know we'll talk about. I know Steve can't wait to talk about it. It will surprise people on October 10th, right? Liberians want something different. They don't want to keep putting the same battery in the radio because they know the radio will not work. And this government, 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 government. But yeah, with the least developed country in the South region. For God's sake, let's do something different.
All right.
So that's my answer to that question. Long
Yeah.
answer.
So
I'm sorry.
yeah, that's okay. So, Mr. Cummings, speaking of tomorrow, since you mentioned tomorrow, that was supposed to be my next question. But I'm glad that you brought it up.
This is
So,
water, by the way. This is not vodka, gentlemen.
anyway, my always are tied. Ah, maybe,
Aha. I see.
Mr. Cummings, tell
When
you.
people drinking, I won't know
Yeah,
what in that bottle.
maybe I'm doing something that we don't know. Well, it's okay. Mr. Cummings, tomorrow, speaking of tomorrow, according to some of your supporters, that tomorrow going to be huge. That they're going to take over the city. I mean, Mr. Cummings was fairly new politically 2017. ATS was somehow jam packed. Now Mr. Cummings is a household name. And now it's not just ANC. Now you have ANC Liberty Party and some Liberians that are of none of those political parties, but yet they support Cummings. Putting all of these people together, I mean, we expect it to be jam packed or beyond capacity. However, are we sure this is not going to be another um, retired suffering rally wherein the expectations were high and then it did not meet the expectation of the people? Are you sure that tomorrow Liberian would really turn up and show up for Cummings and the CPP, and to send a message that yes, indeed, Cummings is the next president and Charlie Bronski will be the next vice president. Is tomorrow going to be a message?
Yes, Shekwa, I believe it will be. As you suggest, in 2017, we had one of the biggest rallies
Yeah, I
in
remember.
Liberia. I don't know, Steve, you didn't do your research. You should show that picture
I do have the
on
video. I do have that video, Mr. Cummings. I
You got a
saw
video?
that video today from
Okay.
2017.
Yeah,
I will show you
it was
anyway. I will show you
huge.
later on.
And it frankly, it exceeded my expectation at the time. That rally in 2017. So, and I think tomorrow will do better. I don't want to, um, you know, be too overconfident, because that's not a good thing, right?
Mhm.
But I'm confident, not overconfident. I'm confident tomorrow will be big. The energy is there. Liberians want change. They want something different, and they know that's what we offer. The CDC, the UP, they're fighting. They're making all of these statements. They're threatening each other. And Liberians are increasingly saying that we represent sanity. We represent them. We are working in their interest. So the energy is there, the enthusiasm is there. Look, to be honest, and I like to be honest, in the retire rally, the team, our internal team wasn't all aligned at the time. There were some internal fights, there you go. Um, and so this time now, you know, what has been 6, 8, 9 months later, longer, the team is truly working together. There's the incoming first lady, her picture there. The team is working together now, Steve. We're all pulling, the boat is going we're rowing in one direction, right? So I think tomorrow will be great. I mean, look, let's see. But tomorrow will be great. At a minimum, it will be like 2017, but I think we can even exceed what we did in 2017. We're together with Liberty Party now. Both parties are working much better together. We know each other better. So you will see a sea of white, red, and green tomorrow at the ATS and on the streets of Greater Monrovia. I'm working hard. We have a meeting tonight after this interview to talk to the logistics to make sure we got the logistics to bring our people and then take them back to their various communities. But tomorrow will be great. It'll be great. Again, I don't want to overstate it, overhype it, but it will be great tomorrow.
Okay, Mr. Cummings. Then I will go to the next question. Then I'll go back to Steve. Of all the so-called political gurus, political experience, former vice president, and this and that, why should people choose Mr. Cummings and Charlie Bronski? Why set you guys apart from other political class?
Yeah, and I will also, when you give me a chance to give my closing statement at the end, I will come back to this point as well because we're making the closing argument now. I know that your competitor on another show, but we're making the closing argument with only about 10 days.
You can go to the final argument.
Okay, making the final argument. There you go.
Or the final push.
Yeah, we're doing the final argument now. And that argument is as follows. If you look at where our country is, and you look at where our country needs to go, the kind of leadership our country needs, Consul Bronson and I provide the best alternative for Liberia. I often say Liberians have 3 clear choices. Yes, there are 20 people running, and no offense to the other 17, but all of the polling and you guys do your own polling as well, there are three main candidates where the race is really tightening around. And the way I describe the choices for Liberia and Sekou, Liberians can choose from the past and choose former Vice President Boka, the former ruling party, the Unity Government. Liberians, you kind of know what you would get. That's what you're getting, right? They can choose for the present, So if you're happy with that, then you can go back. You can choose for the present if you're happy with your current life. The fact the country has regressed, then you can choose President Weah. But if you want a bright future, if you want two people who come with integrity, who come with clean hands, who come with different sets of experiences, who know the issue, who have the solutions. Steve and Sekou and Mayborn, we have teams of Liberians who have worked and doing work on education, healthcare, infrastructure, agriculture. So we'll be ready to go. We understand the issues. Again, this economy, this private sector, this job creation, this well-paying people wealth, this giving Liberians a better life, that's our area. That's what we know, the rule of law. That Consul Bronski area, she's a lawyer. She understands that area. That's what this country needs. And that's what we offer. So we offer Liberians the best combination of leadership that the country needs now to move the country forward, right? I often remind Liberians, look, there are probably better, smarter Liberians to lead our country, but they're not on the ballot. Steve, maybe if you or Sekou, if you, maybe you guys were interested in politics, you had the money, you're running for president, maybe you do a better job. I don't know. But you're not on the ballot. So of the choices we have, I often say, Muhammad not on the ballot, Jesus Christ not on the ballot. So none of us are perfect. I'm not perfect by any stretch. But relative to the other choices, I think we're the ones that can create jobs. So our people fix the trash issue, the sanitation issue, solve the drugs issue, infrastructure, fix education, healthcare. We offer the best alternative to address those issues. And that's why, again, I say we'll surpass the political class. And we will get to the runoff on October 10th. And January 22nd, 2024, I want to invite you guys to come to Liberia for my inauguration.
Wow. So, yes, we're going to go to Steve. But before Steve asks this question, let me just say this. After Steve has asked his question, we will go to Mayborn for a set of questions, and then we will open the line in Liberia first. Because we said that this is going to be people-driven conversation. Oftentimes, Mr. Cummings comes here, people always are left with a lot of questions unanswered. So today we will give the people the opportunity. After Steve, we maybe will ask 2 questions, and then we will open the line in Liberia so the Liberian people can ask the question, the concern they have, so Mr. Cummings can address them directly. And then we will open the line in the diaspora as well for a few times. And then Mr. Cummings will address it. We will have some opportunity after those questions to ask some follow-up questions, and then we can, fit within the time frame, so that way we can have, people kind of like wanting to ask question, but they can ask a question. So Steve, go ahead, and then from there we'll go to maybe we'll ask at least 2 questions.
So Mr. Cummings, we probably did not, maybe Sekou did, or I probably did not catch it, but we always, this is customary, when people come here, we ask them about their family, and when leaders come on, and what are the children and so forth. Throw the question in there. How is your wife? How's the children, and how is your mother?
Yeah. Steve, I always appreciate you guys asking that to start. Normally, Sekou asks about my health. Normally, you ask about the family. And it's important because, with all of the challenges we put ourselves through to serve our country and our people, we're human beings as well. So starting with my mother, she's fine. Your mommy is 95. years old. So she's not young. She's struggling a little bit. She's in a nursing home, but she's okay. She's lost most of her sight, but one she can still see kind of in one eye. But she's good. When we thank God every day for her. Every chance I get to go to the States, I usually try to run down to Houston to see her. My sisters are there with her, and they look after her, and they are doing well as well. So we also thank God for their health and the fact that they're together, support each other, and support our mother. Teresa is doing fine. She shared with me. I praise my wife all the time, Steve, that a lot of my success is because of her. Uh, we live and travel around the world, as you guys know. We lived in Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, the UK, different parts of the US, and Teresa was very flexible, and we moved somewhere and she'll figure things out. So we're blessed. She's in good health. We thank God for that. Same with our kids, Ayo, our daughter, Boykai, our son. There was some nonsense on some other show about my son and coming to government and all that. Yes, excuse my, I know this show. I have to be careful what kind of words I use on Seku show, on your show, but that complete nonsense. Boykai, I have no interest in coming to government or playing any role in government. My son runs our family office, does very well. That's how we're able to, fund this election from a lot of his efforts. My daughter similarly. But they're both doing fine in good health. Our grandchildren are well, thank you. Boyka is coming, and both of them are coming. I think they get you on October 6th or 7th. So they'll be here for election day and through, the results. And when we go to the runoff, they will come back for the runoff. So they're all good. Long answer to your question. But thanks for asking. Everybody is well. The pressure and the stress is heavy, but we are committed to our country. We've been blessed as a family. I say that deliberately, and we feel an obligation to help and give back in whatever way God deems appropriate.
Thank you, Mr. Cummings. Normally, again, we talk about the bread and butter issue here, but here is something that I think it's bread and butter. You're someone who I don't know how to say it, but let me put it this way. You speak in a projective form of things, in my view. Let me give the Liberian Post a rundown here. When you first got that charge on you, and the paperwork was sent out for your quote unquote arrest, you and other folks who they claim that you guys altered documents. In one of the very first interview, this is what you said, quote unquote, you will beat the case, or I'm paraphrasing, you will win that case. You won the case. You told the Liberian people that the CPP would go to win at the time in 2020 more seats under your leadership in the CPP at the time. You won more seats. You told the Liberian people that the CPP would be on the ballot, even when there was this challenge or this obstacle of the CPP dissolving, splitting, dividing, or whatever you said. The CPP, you were on the show, you said the CPP will be on the ballot. The CPP is on the ballot. You've told us in the past that the CPP will win the election. What is your confidence? What do you know that the Liberian people don't know? How do you get to make these projections and get? You might not say how you make them happen, but what's going on, basically?
So, seriously, Steve, great question, by the way. And thanks for that preface, right? First of all, I always say that a lot of it is providence's blessing. I believe strongly in God, and I always believe His will be done, ultimately at the end of the day. So it's a combination of that faith in God, that confidence I have, and then it's about doing the work and doing the right things. I often say, Steve, I'm not perfect. I am not a perfect man. But I try to do the right things, make the right decisions. I try to look ahead to anticipate. So it's not just about doing something now, it's understanding the consequences, that might be ahead. If you make the decision, it might be good now, but are you setting some kind of precedent? Are you? So I always try to look ahead, even when I'm making current choices and decisions. And that's why I can be confident that I've done the work. I've made the case. Look, the other part is when you have had success, and I've been blessed to have had success, right? I'm reflective and know how and why I got those successes. So I know how to apply that experience, that understanding, that knowledge in any situation I find myself, so that then it's easy to predict the outcome, right? So it's the combination of blessings, providence, my faith is the point is that I've had lots of experience. I've had some success, a lot. I've had some failures. I made some mistakes, and I learn from my mistakes. I learn from my failure. I'm very reflective. I'm very self-aware, Steve. I know what I know. I know what I don't know. So the things I don't know, I get people who know, and it doesn't bother me that they know more than me. And it doesn't bother me how if you, Steve, are better in some area than I am, can't help me. And I don't mind if you get a recognition because I know long term, as the leader, people will remember me. They will not remember you. They will say, coming for president, and good things happen. They will not remember who the finance minister was, the commerce minister, the foreign. They will not remember. They will remember just if they go bad. So I don't mind. I get good people, smart people. In a moment, they can shine. Okay, right? So through all of these, my life experiences, as I operate, I pray, I have faith, and then I'm deliberate in my thinking, in who I got around me, decisions I make, not just for today, but for tomorrow, trying to anticipate, trying to look ahead, what they call looking around the corner, and the combination of all of those things, right, is why I've been successful and why my predictions have proven to be right. And again, if you talk to the average Liberian politician, there's all the race between UP and CDC. Let them wait and see.
Thank you,
Let's
Mr.
get the
Cummings.
results right now.
Just before Melbourne comes in, the Cummings administration would inherit, or even more so, divided country, not necessarily on a tribal level or restricted to a tribal level, but it's gone socially, it's gone especially politically. It's at all levels now as we speak. What do you say to a seditian who is apprehensive, confused, jittery, anxious, or afraid that he didn't believe in Mr. Cummings for 5 years and I'll say maybe 23 months, a couple of days, 10 days to the election? This sedition, this UPist, this ALP, this other group of political party, people who never believe in you at all, people who never trusted you, people who even criticize you openly on record. What do you say to them that are apprehensive in supporting you and Charlie Bronski, that want to make that push finally and say, listen, I've been on the edge, I've been on the fence, I want to make a push because my government are doing well, I don't trust the Unity Party, but I also don't know Mr. Cummings. What do you say to them?
I feel several things. One is, look at the people around me today, right? And look at their historical political affiliations. So in no particular order, you look at Isaac Vatoba. He was a sedition. He was chair of the CDC in the USA. So it wasn't like just any sedition, right? And he's in my camp today. He was my chief of staff. He now runs our policy operation. You look at Councillor Mariah Yakula. Mariah was against me, was a strong sedition. And Sarah, strong UPS in 2017. Strongly against me, right? She became my chief of staff. She's one of my strongest advocates, right? She's a fighter, right? You look at Louis Brown was with the MPP, right? I could go on and on and on. Of course, you got ANC people, both on the ground and from the diaspora. So I say to all other political parties, UP, CDC, Liberty Party, Councilor Bronski, as my VSB, I ran against her father, Sekou, in 2017, as she's with me now. So, I often say, Sekou and Steve, they say the best predictor, not electronic is two. The best predictor of future behavior, future performance is past behavior, past performance. So the seditions, the UP people, they can look at what I'm doing today and who's around me, should get some comfort. There's a room for everybody. So that's one message to them. There's room. You can see yourself, other people like you, who are around me today in very senior roles. And the people I name are just a few. The list goes on. The second thing I will say is I promise that this will be a government of inclusion. So if you're a sedition today, as long as you haven't stolen from the Liberia people, you've done the right thing, there's space for you, right? And of course, if you stole, if we can't prove that you stole, then we can't prosecute you, because I'm not going to just pick on Sekou just because I don't like him. Say, oh, he stole, so we'll put him in jail. No, the evidence, right? If the evidence leads to you, Steve, to Sekou, to Mayborn, to my mother, my son, we'll go after you, right? So if you're smart, you've done things right, there's room for you. And the other thing I would say to them is, don't get consumed by this government thing, because we'll create opportunities in the private sector. So you may not get a job in government, but Liberian businesses will grow, they will hire people, foreign direct investors will come. We will insist on the liberalization policy for those concessions that are here. So if ArcelorMittal, if they're not filing, I don't know if they are or not, but liberalization within those organizations. So all of the big mining companies, we want Liberians to be side by side with the expatriates. So there will be some jobs there, right? We will grow agriculture, other companies will come, Liberian business will thrive. So there will be jobs for people. So don't get consumed by government. There will be room in the government for everybody, as you can see who's around me, but there will be an alternative that we don't have today. And Steve, nobody knows how to grow this private sector. Nobody as in who's running for president. Again, I'm not making my head too big. There are other people who know how to do that too. But of those running for president, right, I'm the one that understands how to make that happen. And so the seditions or UP people or whoever, you have jobs in the private sector, because that's my focus. And those people are not going to ask you whether you're UP or you Kola, you Gio, you Crown, you Congo, wherever you are, Madingo, Tele. If you qualify, the private sector will hire you. And they won't ask your party affiliation, right? So that's my answer to that question.
Thank you. Up to you, Mayborn.
Yeah, so before Mayborn comes in, I want to admonish all of us to at least be as quick as possible to shorten the questions, and so Mr. Cummings can answer the questions. We can able to at least entertain some good number of people, questions from the diaspora, from the people that are going to be calling. And everybody that will call Mayborn, 30 seconds maximum. We're not going to give anybody time that will be taking all of the time, so other people will not have time to ask questions. Yeah, but go ahead, Mayborn.
Thank you. In fact, I must say thank to the standard bearer of the political leader of the CPP. But before I ask my question, I just want to take this 1 minute break. I don't know what is happening here, but let me see quickly. Yes, I want to get this launching. Yeah, something is happening quickly, but coming. But yeah, so sorry. Wow, this computer trying to. But anyway, so let me just go to the question while we try to play this stuff of our, or in fact, of the CPP launching on tomorrow, which of course.
Bati, Zekwe, CPP Zekwe.
The collaborating political party CPP Victory Rally is now set for Sunday, October 1 at the Antoinette Tubman Stadium. Yes, it's fixed up day, Sunday, October 1 at the ATS. CPP partisans, supporters, sympathizers, and well-wishers are called to join the CPP Standard Bearer Mr. Alexander B. Cummings and Vice Standard Bearer Councilor Charlie M. Brumskin for the victory rally. So come out, all Liberians in your CPP colors, to celebrate the long-awaited victory. It's the pre-celebration of the birth of a new Liberia. Be a part of this historic victory rally. Yes, it's Fixer Day on Sunday, October 1st at the Anthony Topman Stadium starting at 2 p.m. It's CPP all the way.
All right, neighbor, let's stop down now and go to the questions, please.
Honorable Cummings, thank you so much. Thank you. In fact, you are the only candidate so far who always come into the media explaining all of your platforms. In fact, what you will be doing for Mama Liberia. But this is a follow-up questions to what have been asked already pertaining to the peace and stability of our country, especially on what happened on yesterday right there in Lofa County. In fact, with the kind of thing happening, electoral violence. And on today, the Joint Security had the press conference also condemning that. And in fact, they are telling us now that there'll be a lot of measures that will be taken on, in fact, to make sure that this kind of thing don't happen again. So I just want you to recommend, if you want to recommend on this platform as we go into the pool on the 10th of October, because see me now as a journalist, sometimes people will not really look at, sometimes we will talk, they will feel maybe we for or we against sometimes. So in fact, violence has no room, you have no way to say, yeah, this person is good or bad. So if you were to recommend to the Joint Security, what would be your own recommendation as we go to the pool on October 10th?
So thanks, Mabel. And first of all, let me repeat a little bit of what I said before that. This is something we shouldn't tolerate. That sometimes it's the language of our leaders that lead people to act the way they do. There's sometimes, Mayburn, this people's sense of entitlement, that they are entitled to win. They're entitled to lead, to rule. And I, Alexander Cummings, and as a leader, that message flows down to your organization, through your people, how you act, what you say, how you say it. And everybody know that I don't feel entitled to anything. That I believe we gotta earn the right to serve our people. And that it's a job of service. And people also know that I don't tolerate loose rhetoric. I don't use it myself, right? And that all sends messages to people. What I would say to the Joint Security people is they need to make sure they investigate and try to get to the bottom. It's complicated to do it, and I know it's easier said than done. But the job needs to try to figure out who perpetrated this so that there can be consequences. Because if there's no consequences, there's no reason for people not to do it again. So when there's consequences, then there will be a deterrence. So I really ask them to put the resources to try to figure out who caused this thing and let there be some punishment, let there be some consequences, because that will be a deterrence. And of course, look, the ruling party are the people that appointed everybody in the Joint Security, right? Now, I'm sure some of these people are professionals, so I don't want to besmirch anybody that I don't know. But again, I go back to my point that it is primarily the obligation of the president and his team to make sure violence is minimized. And I really call on the UP to also exercise discretion, tolerance, because all of the violence so far has been between those two parties. And so I call on both parties to let's bring the temperature down. Let's be civil. Nobody entitled to anything. Let's just do the work. Let's just make the case to our people. And Joint Security, you do your job too. And don't try to pick sides here. Follow the evidence. And
all right, thank you so much.
Okay,
thank you so much, Honorable Cummings. 077-833-9682. That's the number to call. For those of you who've been following this program, or if you're just joining us, we want to say welcome to the program, the SK TV, right here on the Truth FM. and also on the SKTV page. And today we are opportunity to have the political leader of the CPP with us on the show. So if you call in, please just be brief so that other people too can also be part. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, my name is Emmanuel Stano Chia, to German district to Italy. And good evening to Mr. Cummings. Yeah, my question to him said, you not be doing this thing, and we are the very result. I want to ask people like John Westler and Madam Morayo, who built this country in the United Pakistan. So how different we need to become president 2029? Thank you for the time.
Thank you so much. That is so cool. Yes, I like that. 077-8339-682. Call in to be part of the show. The standard bearer of the CPP is with us here on the SKTV. To this caller, good evening. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Your name and from where you join us?
Oh, my name is Alice. I'm joining from Baptist Seminary.
Yeah, go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, I just want to tell Mr. Cummings, thank you for whatever he said, his video. Only thing I pray for him, God help him, for God getting the wisdom to rule the country.
Tomorrow is the day for CPP tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be there by the grace of God.
Okay.
I read a seminary, so I already prepared.
All right. Thank you so much for being part of the show. To this caller, good evening.
Good evening, Mabel.
Yeah, Chief, how you doing? Your name and from where you join us?
Thank you so much. My name is Lawrence Obama, and let me say good evening also to Mr. Cummings.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I'm a partisan of him, but really, when he on air sometime, his voice does not give me courage that we get to the presidency. Seriously. Actually, when I listen to him always, I feel discouraged because his voice does not give me that zeal. Yeah, I'm not in support of Joseph Baga.
All right, thank you. To this caller, good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Yeah, my brother, I'm good. Thank God. Go ahead, your name and from where you join us?
I'm Linda Bridges. I'm calling for the township of Johnsonville.
Yeah, go ahead, Chief.
I'm a chairman for Association of the Masters for the election of Honorable Zana Cummings. Yeah, I first want to commend our political leader in studio there. You know, and I also want to admonish him for the work that he's doing over the country. We just want to tell him thank you tomorrow. Gathering ourselves will be out there tomorrow for the parade march. We'll make sure we march ANC, CPP to victory. Thank you for the collaboration. Thank you for everything. We appreciate you for the work you and Councilor Bronski are doing. That's all I just want to say.
Thank you so much. And tomorrow is the D-Day for the CPP on tomorrow. To this caller, good evening. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, your name and from where you join us?
I'm Mr. Chinos Vikubo calling from Toronto in Lower Market Country.
Yeah, go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, I just want to tell my leader, thank you for the deliberation. I heard my other parties say, popular talking without zeal, but that we are talking, so we am I in for it, we do it for it. We stand by, even though our people will work tomorrow, but by the grace of God, we are with him, and God is in our place to make sure that we take the matter of leadership of this country to make things work better. So we all standing behind him because we know what he stands for. In Jesus' name.
Thank you so much for being part of the show. To this caller, good evening.
Good evening, people.
Yeah, Chief, go ahead, your name and from where you join us?
Thank you. This is the voice of and I do join
His voice is low. Let you talk louder.
Yeah, his voice is low.
Number 10?
Yeah, that person's voice is low, maybe. We're not hearing the person.
Go ahead a little bit. We're not getting you. You come in a little bit.
District number 4.
Oh, district number 4, the most populated district in Massachusetts County.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
And let me appreciate your studio guests and let me appreciate the people of ANC.
Yeah.
All I wish them tomorrow is to get on peaceful closing as we get close to the election. I'd like to give one question to Mr. Alexander B. Cummings. Mr. Cummings, I'd like to ask you if you cannot go second to this election and you happen to be a United Party go to the second one, will you support United Party?
Okay.
For me, I'd like for United Opposition. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that same question to you also go back to the other side as to whether
It's okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Good evening.
Let me take care.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's low, maybe. Put it closer.
Yeah, that person is running low.
Bishop Cummings said that people think entitlement to How does it
You say,
compromise?
hello, you say what?
He says some leaders feel entitled to certain position or certain whatever it is. How does it reconcile that statement with it being claiming entitled to only play A, but he has no plan B?
All right.
How does it compromise to that?
All right, thank you for listening, and you're going to answer to all of your questions, your claims, and so forth. Today's caller, good evening.
Yes, good evening, Mason.
Yeah, go ahead, ma'am. Your name and from where you join us.
Oh, good evening to my incoming president. This is Manjo, the female general and volunteer cabin manager in your own right.
For CPP.
CPP.
Yeah. But thank God that today now your president or your incoming president is in studio to the choir.
Let hear.
For you to hear my voice, it means when I go to the party state headquarters when you hear it means female general. So you can be thinking who is the female general? I'm officially fair woman, but my vote is not officially fair.
All right. Thank you so much to this caller. Good evening. Yeah, your name and from where you join us.
Thank you. I'm Lawrence Pell, and join you for the headquarters of the Bible movement where the momentum is overwhelming. Liberians keep paying for t-shirts and all of that. You know, the thing is, the people know that this election is forward, so where it's going. So tomorrow, they are describing it as a pre-victory mass. And the next president, Mr. Cummings, we see all that you can see, is very upbeat about the process. So it's coming with a lot of energy. I want to tell all of our ordinary something massive that continue to choose or shine. Thank you. If the share is not sufficient due to financial constraint and all of that, Mr. Cummings wants to do it and support this process. I mean, we don't care ourselves, but we are, and today we benefit that as we did not get out of the country. So that's there with Mr. Cummings. I mean, to make it a success, you can come with your wine and bread side tomorrow to show that solidarity for the pre-victory march. So that God can be better after this process. So I want to say the Bible movement, our health, people are very doing well, and we continue to stand with this process. We believe that if Liberians will vote wrongly, it will be a total disaster in our country. We are observing, I mean, mysterious debt, the economy is nowhere. I mean, we cannot even fear ourselves.
All right, thank you so much. So 077
yeah. Let's take two more calls from Liberia, then we'll start taking calls in the diaspora. So,
all right, 077-833-9682. Just take one or two more calls, then cross over to the other team members to also take calls from there. And to this caller, good evening. Oh, like the phone is really freezing because there are a lot of calls coming back to back. Let me see. We're going. If not, then we cross over to Sekou and that Steve. Yeah, the phone is really freezing because the calls just jamming back to back. Yeah, so you can take calls from your end.
Okay, that's okay. So, Mr. Cummings, do you want to answer those questions first before we go to the?
Yes.
We don't want to overload you with questions. So please
let's
answer this question, then we'll move to the diaspora to take questions.
Yeah, let's answer this question, then we shift. So there was a guy called, I think, Emmanuel, saying that Wisner and Mariah milked the country. And I would say to him, that's just complete nonsense. I don't know what the basis of those allegations are. Because these people had roles in government, the Unity Party in the past, doesn't mean they stole or they were corrupt or they milked the country. So please, let's not just throw allegations out. These are people that got character, with family, got integrity, and I can vouch for them that they didn't milk anything or anybody. But it just shows that in my government, we have people from everywhere. Unity, Liberty, CDC, it doesn't matter, but please, let's not cast aspersion at people's reputation. What other questions were there? Somebody talked about peaceful rally, they support. Oh, there was a guy that says, my voice doesn't inspire him or whatever. I'm glad most of the people who call in my voice inspires them. That's just how I talk, that's just who I am. And we will inspire enough people that will win the election. What else? Guy asked about, because I don't have a plan B, that means I'm entitled. I don't know how to explain this for you to understand. I don't feel entitled to anything. I have a plan A and I work hard to achieve the plan A. I don't work to achieve a plan B. That's the difference. I don't feel entitled. I don't feel it's my right. I don't feel Liberian people have to vote for me. I feel I have to work. I have to make the case. And if I don't make the case enough, they will not vote for me, and that's okay, right? But the good news is we're making the case. Liberians are listening. Liberians want change. And that's why our plan will be successful, not because we feel entitled, not because we're demanding it, not because we feel it's all right, but because we're doing the work, we're making the case, we're asking, we're making the contrast, the difference, and the good news, they're listening, and it will come our way. But please, the person that asked that question, don't ever give up on your vision for yourself, on your aspiration for yourself. Don't settle too quickly. Forget about Alexander Cummings. Think about yourself and keep pushing to the highest level. The female general, I remember you. I know who you are. So when you come to the victory party, we'll recognize you. I want to recognize the Paco movement people. They call in as well. Paco, one of the hardest working people on my behalf. If I had 10 Pacos, I would win in the first round. So Paco and the Paco movement people, thank you. Somebody mentioned, that we are calling this a pre-victory rally because we anticipate victory. We're working towards victory. And I want to encourage every Liberian to come out tomorrow. You can wear red, white, or green. We're trying to get as many t-shirts as we can, Sekou, but the demand is just far exceeding our capacity to deliver. So anything you got on white shirt, t-shirt, or red, there was a women's rally held for me on Wednesday, and the women just wore red scarves. Some had red t-shirts, some had white, but red. So anything red, white, or green, put it on and come out tomorrow. I think those were the key questions that were asked. The rest were comments and people were thanking me, supporting me, etc.
All right. So now we are going to the diaspora to take calls. In the meantime, a few people donated to SKTV saying that I shouldn't call their name, even though yesterday they donated to SKTV, but today one of them sent $25, another one sent $50 saying that for ABC, but please don't call my name. I just wanted to say it so that Mr. Cummings can know that some of your people, they actually appreciate your coming on. And for that reason, they are even sending money to SKTV to appreciate us hosting you. So I want to say thank you to those people. Mr. Cummings, I have a lot of calls here. This first caller is I think it's from Europe. We'll take that call, and Prince supposed to be the first caller, but I prioritize people calling overseas so that they can be on hold forever. People being on hold forever. So let's go to this person. Abraham from Norway. Are you there? Yeah, 1 minute. Maximum 1 minute.
Yes, okay.
That person is breaking badly. We can't hear them.
Hold on. We for me, I'm not having problem hearing the person, but
then repeat the question. Let them go ahead. You tell us the question then.
Yeah, everyone, go ahead. If just make it short. If they don't understand it, I'll try to repeat it for you for Mr. Cummings. Go ahead.
In the past, I listened to you in one of your interviews. You talked about our country has been militarized, but yesterday was a clear indication that the country has been militarized. CDC has militants in Lufa County, and Unity Party has militants. In fact, the interview the Unity Party militants, one of the leaders, he said they have 800 men. They were in red yesterday. They are the one that can kill me. What will you do in your capacity as one of the stakeholders if you, in case the government or whosoever that will do the investigation does not handle this case properly? Because this is becoming it's going out of hand. We have the same one.
Please ask the question directly, Abraham. We don't have enough time. Please. All right, thank you.
I didn't get it. I didn't get a question though.
Yeah. So let me give you the question so you can take it down. He said, we have a lot of militant groups in Liberia. Case in point, the ones in Lofa County. United Party has a militant group. As CDC also has militant group. What will you do to demilitarize Liberia? So we'll go to the line here. Go to Prince. Prince, are you there? Yeah, my brother. 1 minute maximum, please.
Thank you very much, Sekou. Mr. Cummings, how you doing? Mr. Cummings, it's been a wonderful journey. It's been a great round. You know, I remember 2016 when I made a decision to hit my round on your dynamics, new dynamics that you bring to the Liberian politics. Today, it's been a while. It's been almost 7 years or 8 years. I'm not disappointed. I'm not discouraged. My head is lifted high. I'm vindicated among my own people, my tribal people, the crew people, when I refuse to support my own crew better. I want to say to you that...
Please ask the question, Prince.
Yes.
We don't have enough time.
I'm not asking questions. I'm commending
okay.
Mr. Cummings for a job. I'm not asking questions.
All right.
I can do that in 1 minute if you allow me to.
But go ahead quickly.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Cummings, for what you do. And I just want to say to you, in 2029, for your re-election, I will be behind you again. I will support you again because Liberia is better. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You already believe that Mr. Cummings is already elected. Let me go to the other caller here. 763 number, last 4 DJ. 763 last 4 DJ is 5104. Are you there?
Yes, hi, this is Wala. I just want to say something to Mr. Cummings. I know he will say it's the same question I'm always asking. My question is, especially when it comes to women and the little girls that are being raped, what are some of the plans you have to be able to take these little girls on the street and little boys and things that are being so infected with drugs? What are some of the plans that you have for early childhood education and then medication, medical issues that we have, like the mom and babies and stuff? What are some of the plans that you have? And then next, I just want to say thank you, Mr. Cummings. This is me, Wanda. You know me. I've never quit my song, but I want to say job well done. Whatever the situation is, you did your best. It's left with my grandpa to take it or to leave it. I trust you, and I know you're going to win. Bless you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Let's go to the line here. 480 number, last 4 DJ 3908. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
What is your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, good afternoon, Sekou. My name is Prince Massacre, calling from New York.
Prince Massacre from New York. Go ahead.
Hello to Mr. Cummings. I just have a quick question for Mr. Cummings. First of all, I just want to make this quick correction before I go to my questions. We often hear this statement from the ANC people, and that of Mr. Bennett is saying that they have 40% of Liberians, they are silent voter. That is false. We don't have no silent voter.
Ask your question. Ask your question.
Yeah. I just wanted to make that.
Yeah. That one. We don't have time for that right now. The time is for questioning. Please.
Mr. Cummings, I just want to know if you don't be your record picture, which was in 2017 that you came to state, it was 7%. What if this time you have got from all pool conductor shoes that you are behind Lucini Camara, you are behind money back that of Congo? What if you don't get 5% this coming election? Will you stay contest again in the coming election?
Thank you. Thank you so much. So let's go to the next caller here. Caller, what is your name and where you calling from? Last 4 digits 7671.
Hi, Sekou. My name is Jackson Kida. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Go ahead, Jackson.
My question is in regards to tomorrow rally. Mr. Cummings, this rally is one of the most important rallies in the history of CPP. This victory rally for security. What are we doing for security? What are the CPP doing for security? Because we saw what happened in Foya. What are we taking into consideration in Foya?
Thank you. No, my man, let's stop there. We got a lot of people calling.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So let's go to the line here. I'm not even going to be able to take all the calls, to be honest with you. I got more than 200 missed calls already. Trust me. So caller, what is your name and where you calling from? 3051. 3051 682. Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Go ahead.
This is Caroline calling from the Lone Star State, Texas.
Caroline, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. My question is on the call. Ottawa first, the ATS, everyone who's listening. Mr. Cummings, my question. What plan do you have regarding national security? Thank you. That's my question.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, let's go to the other line here. Caller 210, last 4 digits, 4603. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Abraham Sanioka. I'm calling from San Antonio, Texas. Good evening, Mr. Cummings. My question is, are there any plans to make the Port of Buchanan a commercial hub, thereby making Buchanan a gateway to the southeast? And not only that, but also using the Port of Buchanan as a transshipment point for cargoes going to Mali and Burkina Faso that are landlocked. And also, he has spoken about goods coming, containers coming from the United States to have a flat rate on those containers, because there are a lot of Liberians in the diaspora who indulge in those businesses.
Thank you.
What are your plans? Could you please expound on those? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's go to the line. I think we're going to take 2 more calls and then we go to Mr. Cummings so we can be able to have some time, to do some follow-ups. Caller, what is your name and where are you calling from? Last 4 digit is 2214.
Yeah, good afternoon, Stephen. Good afternoon.
Yeah, what is your name and where are you calling from? Quickly.
Good afternoon, Steve. Good afternoon. Honorable incoming president for 2029, Mr. Cummings.
Oh, incoming president for 2029. I think this is a breakable power. Go ahead.
This is a breakable power.
Yeah, that's CDC. I know him. Go ahead.
Mr. Cummings, thank you so much. Some of us, we believe in you. Or, when you cannot reach here, you got to wait some time. But I don't want to ask you 2 questions. I didn't share a little fun.
No, it's not for fun, man. Ask a real question. Okay, go ahead.
And the second question is, if the election not going your way, maybe you need to what you call it as a minister or ambassador, as a position.
All right, thank you. All right, one more call, and then we will go to Mr. Cummings. Let's see here. Hold on 1 second. Oh my God, this is getting crazy. Caller, what is your name and where you calling from? 510, last 4 digit 1290.
Yeah, this is Alabama calling from California.
California, go ahead quickly.
Yeah, Mr. Cummings, I really love you, even though I'm not supporting you, I won't lie to you. But I just have a question. In case you win election, can you promise me that you will train the police and where every police can have at least a motorbike? Because our police don't even know how to drive car before I say motorbike, so that's one of the reasons why they're not expected, So if God blesses you to win election, will you train police and make at least every police to have a motorbike?
Thank you. Oh, sorry. You wanted to get number 2, but I don't like to give number 2 because we don't have enough time. So, Mr. Cummings, to be honest with you, I have more than 200 missed calls, and we will not be able to accommodate everybody. So I want you to answer to these questions, and then from there, we might take you a few more. If not, we will have some follow-up, and then you can have a closing. I want to make sure we fit within the 2-hour frame because I know you're a busy person, so we have to force you, beg you and force you to come do a final push on SKTV, and you adhere to our call. So we don't want to miss your abuse, that opportunity. So go ahead and answer these questions, and then we will do follow-ups. If necessary, we'll take more calls.
Right. So there was a question about a country, being militarized and how do we demilitarize it. And look, there's several things we need to do in no particular order. One is all about the example we set as the leader. What we say, our tone of voice, the words we utter, we can bring down tensions. we got to encourage our young people to focus on getting education, training, skills, and jobs. And that's what we'll do by growing the private sector, by focusing on vocational training and education, by improving the educational sector. The young people who are militarized, if you will, a lot of these young people are idle. They are taken advantage of. They're used. And so as we change the environment, as change the dynamics around them, we'll get away from that. And in the political institutions, we encourage people not to have a militant wing. That's something even the ANC, I need to, and the CPP, we need to discourage. But it's the example we set, the words we choose, and giving the young people some opportunity to do things differently, not to be idle and not to be taken advantage of. I want to thank, I forgot the gentleman's name, but he said he was cruel enough voting for his crew brother in George Manawia. He supported me. Thank you. I promise you will not disappoint you. Will not bring shame to you. Sis Wanga, I know Sis Wanga very well from Minnesota. Sis Wanga, I think you've heard me talk about the fact that we will take the young people off the streets. Those who are on drugs, we'll rehabilitate them. Those that the young people that are selling on the streets, we insist that we put them in schools, and we have to improve the educational system to make sure that they're getting good quality education. We'll make sure our women are protected from rape and sexual-based violence. People who perpetrate that will be prosecuted. We'll make sure we got the system, the processes in place to make sure that happens. And then I call on Liberians, when that happens in your family, don't protect the violator, don't protect the uncle or the brother or the father that commits these acts. Bring them to justice. Let us create an environment so we can stop sexual and gender-based violence. But we focus on young people because they represent the future of Liberia, and we focus on women because they represent the foundation of our country. And we'll make sure we protect and look after them. And I think it was a UP partisan, Prince, I didn't get the last name, mentioning silent voters. Yeah, there are a lot of silent voters. There are a lot of undecided voters as well, Prince. And Prince, we entered Liberian politics literally about 15 months or so before the last election. Yes, we got 7% of the vote. We came in 30 months, or rather, we came in 30 in 6 other counties. And if you just simplistically just extrapolate, we've been at this thing over 6 years now, right? 6 times 7, 42. So we'll be at 42%. Just simplistically, that puts us in the second round automatically, right? So what's different between now and then is time, effort. The record is known, we are known, and people know the contrast very well between the past and voting for the past, going back, voting for the present, and voting for a better future. And we represent a better future. And we think that's where Liberians will go. We're working on security for the rally. We're working on rally marshals. We're working with the police and others to help protect the peaceful assembly of people tomorrow. And we are hopeful, we are prayerful that the rally will be peaceful, but we're putting the necessary security actions in place. There was a question about national security. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure our national security apparatus, our people are led by professionals, not by partisans, that they are resourced with the right equipment, they are paid well with the right logistics so they can do the job, and would not interfere in the execution of their jobs. So we'll focus on national security, protecting our borders, making sure, again, people got the right skills, they're professionals, they got the right tools, logistics, resources, so they can protect us, our relationships with our neighbors, in the Monterey Union, in ECOWAS, in the African Union, in the UN. All of those things, apply to national security. And ultimately, making sure our people got jobs and they are not hopeless. Because, when you have a lot of young people who are unemployable with no jobs, that by itself is a national security risk. So we'll address that as well. There was a question about the Port of Buchanan. We will develop the Port of Buchanan and the Port of Harper and the Port of Greenville. We are too dependent on the Port of Monrovia. It's congested, it's complicated. So to decongest it, let's create an alternative. And we got 3 other potential areas, Buchanan, Greenville, and Harper, and we'll find the resources to develop those. Buchanan being high on the priority because of its proximity to Monrovia. to also serve the Monrovia and the Southeast until we can get to the port of Greenville and Port of Harper. So yes, to the caller, we got plans to develop that port. The sedition caller by 2029, we will put you out of power in January next year, my friend. No second term. Joe, we have failed. You guys have failed the Liberian people. The Liberian people are suffering. We will be giving George Weah a red card tomorrow. We're taking him off the pitch. You know, you understand football, right? When you foul intentionally, and Joe Weah has fouled the Liberian people intentionally, we'll flash the red card and get him off the pitch. So don't worry about this 2029 stuff. And yes, I will be working in government. I'll be working in government as president. That's the goal. That's the plan A. You know, we're not working on plan B at all because we think we'll be successful. Then the last question, I didn't quite understand it. To make sure every police person get a motorcycle. Look, we will provide vehicles and motorcycles to people whose jobs require it. This is not something, it's not a benefit you get to everybody, right? If the role that policeman plays or policewoman requires that they are mobile, that have a motorcycle, they will have it. If they are a patrol person that requires that they be on the street, they will not have it. If they need vehicles, cars, they will have it. And that applies to all of the government. You know, we're not just proliferate vehicles and motorbikes just to do it. That's not effective. That's not efficient use of the limited resources we have. So if the job requirements require that, that's what we'll do. So I think I covered most of the questions. I don't know if I missed any, Siku or Steve, but I think I got most of them.
Yeah, I think you answered most of it. We have had people calling, but I mean, we know we do not have enough time for all of for another calls. But what we can do? Somebody, one of your followers or supporters, send me a question to ask you, saying that you branded a commodity before and fought a bigger market. What strategy will you use to brand Liberia and gain international recognition?
Yeah, so we will, you know, branding is also based on some substance. There gotta be truth to your brand. So if you take Coca-Cola, for example, it is refreshing. It's a fact. It refreshes you with some refreshment. Coca-Cola is liquid. It rehydrates. It's hydration, right? So those are some fundamentals. So to brand Liberia, we gotta make sure we fix the country. We get the environment right. We make Liberia a safe haven for investors, safe for Liberians to live and thrive. We want Liberia to be branded as a country where its people are benefiting from the resources of their country. They are developing their country. They are welcoming to foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investors can feel safe here. They can make money. Liberians can make money at the same time. We will brand our beautiful country, our beaches, our rainforests. But we want a country branded as one where people have integrity, they're hardworking, they're industrious, their private sector is growing, they are welcoming. Those are the characteristics or the features of the brand Liberia we want to develop. But we got to fix the country, right? So that brand can be based on substance and not on superficial. Because if it's superficial and people come and it's not true, you lose the brand completely. You lose credibility. And it's hard to reestablish the brand if we don't fix the country first before we start to brand it.
So, Mr. Cummings, we are winding down the conversation, but one last thing I would really like you to expand on is that there are a lot of people who are still undecided, and the final 10 days, you have to make the case to the people who are undecided to decide, and you want them to break your way. So, what are the first 100-day priorities? Things that will actually Now to make these people to make their decision, you know what? This man is the real deal. The first 100 days project that Liberian will see, they will feel the changes that they are yearning for. What are the 100 days project of Mr. Cummings? Then when somebody hear it, definitely they will gravitate towards you. They will say, you know what, this is the real deal. Can you do this for us? So that Liberian people
Yeah,
can.
Siko, look, there are many things, and depending on where you sit in Liberia, some things are more important to you than others. But I will give you a list of things that I think will touch many Liberians to give me the opportunity to serve them as a leader. So in no particular order, because we'll do all of these things. We will implement a national youth service program in the first 100 days to try to address the high youth unemployment, training, skills development for our young people. So that will happen in the first 100 days. We will provide money, credit, loans to our Liberian businesses, including market women, including microcredit for our market women, our Liberian businesses, so they can borrow money and grow and expand their businesses. We'll do that in the first 100 days. We'll address the trash and sanitation issue across the country, particularly in Monserrate, Greater Monrovia, in the first 100 days. That's something we'll see, Liberians will see a difference. We'll address the traffic issues in the first 100 days. Liberians will see a difference. We will revisit and again, depending on the national treasury, how much money we have, we'll at least start to look towards, trying to pay people more consistently than they're getting paid now on the first 100 days, right? And then over time, we'll restore the salary cuts. That may not happen in the first 100 days, but at least we will commit to over time, we'll restore those cuts so people can make a living wage. And we promise, again, perhaps not in the first 100 days, but very quickly, to make sure teachers, healthcare workers, police folks, the military, civil servants, that is, we begin to start paying them a living wage, enough money so that in 1 month they can pay the rent, school fees, buy food for themselves, etc., etc. It will not happen only in the first 100 days, but very shortly after, within the first year, people will begin to see some improvement in the livelihood. Liberians want a better life, and then we start to see that. So those are some examples. So we'll start to enforce the Liberianization policy in the first 100 days, which will also help with the job creation process. So these are just some examples of things we'll touch in the first 100 days so Liberians can see, the streets getting cleaner, the traffic is flowing better, people are following the rules more, we're starting meetings on time, the youth are getting more engaged and more involved. Businesses are beginning to thrive because we're providing credit to our businesses, including micro loans to our market women. These are some of the things we'll start to do. Civil servants can be assured that, they will at least get their pay consistently, every month, and then over time, they will begin to see increases in their salaries. So those are some examples. The farmers will be able to get a few, maybe towards the end of the first 100 days, but certainly in the first year, our focus on agriculture and farming, farmers will begin to see, something is happening here, something different is happening in my life. And so all of those constituencies we want to touch, beginning the first 100 days, but certainly into the first year of our administration. But the other thing I would say to the undecided, Siku, is that, first of all, don't try to look for perfection. You got a finite choice of people. You got 20 people running, and you got 3 main choices. And none of us, the top 3, are perfect. But you know what to expect from the United Party. That's why I say you can choose from the past. You know what to expect from the current government. They've been in power for six years. Now you're taking a bit of a risk on us because you don't know. But look at my track record of performance in the private sector. From where I started, a Liberian, grew up in Point 4, grew up in Fiamma, went to demonstration school, CWA, most of my education in this country. And to where I reached, we had to do something right. Delivering results, integrity, all of those things, right? You can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results, right? So if you want the same results, then you vote for president. We are the former vice president because that's what you get. You want to take a small risk, and only a small risk, and support Councilor Bronsky and I, you will see a difference. This country will move forward in ways that are unimaginable. So that's the message to the undecideds.
So we are about to leave. We are winding down, so we'll go to Steve. Steve, what question you have, Mr. Cummings, before we leave?
So I have this quick question that someone sent me, and I was reading as we were speaking. But just to go back to so because me I let of talking the simple English way, right? So you say the thing where you just talk, you say at least when you take over in 3 months time, the Liberian people that whole cutting pay thing, you're not being cutting pay business. At least you will pay people on time. That's what you're saying, right?
I'm saying we'll start to pay people on time
Okay.
when I take over. Yes, that's what I'm saying. And beyond that, we'll start to restore the cuts. I'm not. Well, these people will be paid on time, and then progressively we'll start to restore to increase their salaries back to where it used to be.
Oh, so you saying now the people that money what
The harmonization, what they did.
No, that harmonization thing, our put my own man know that one. The money what the government cut
for the people their salary.
Our people there, you will put that money back. That's what you say?
But not in the first 90
gradually.
days.
Small.
Gradually.
Yeah, okay, no problem. That one, but we hear that one. And then you saying to us too that when the tanker, the road there will not be dirty, all that dirty in the market there, all the dirty, you'll try to clean the dirt.
Yes. And that was starting in the first 90 days.
Oh, okay. So in 3 months, at least Moreover will start being clean. We'll not see dirt in here, all the other things.
Correct. Yes.
And then the other part too, you also saying to our people that the market women there, you will get them loans so that they can be able to buy the bitter ball, pepper, and things to start selling. That's what you say to our people?
Yes.
Okay. But then my old man and probably ain't happy. But anyway, let me. Oh, so wait, Mr. Cummings, wait. Let me say who they want is serious because you saying it when you take over the market women there. Y'all will get them loans so they can be able to do their business?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And that loan there will not only be for the people in Monrovia, it will be all over the country?
It will be all over the country.
Okay.
We will use existing village savings and loans around the country. We'll give them more money for them to lend to their people. So that's why we're confident we can do it in the first 90 days. We're not creating new institutions. We identify their VSLs around Liberia, Steve. We'll use those existing ones, the ones that are run well, and we'll give them more money so they can lend to their people. And that can happen quickly. But we expect the money to be paid back. And when money not paid back, Liberia, so that government money will not pay it back. No, you will pay it back. So we can lend to more people, and we don't pay it back. Wherever the collateral was, we'll take it from you. But it will happen in the first 90 days.
Okay, and then the last one too, you say that whole traffic binning where government can PP men in the government can jam the traffic, they put a siren here, they be right on the other side. You say you're not in that other one.
I'm not in that one.
Okay. Well, let me ask a question. One of your supporters asked. This person is concerned about the poll watching, and they want to know if the CPP is ready in terms of poll watching. Are you guys prepared and ready for? I think they said over 500 polling stations. Is the CPP ready for that?
Actually, it's over 5,000 polling stations, Steve. Look, we're trying to get ready. It's an enormous task. I don't want to sit here and overpromise and be overconfident. We're organizing now. We're starting to do the poll watching training. We are recruiting the poll watchers as we speak. There was a training session today. There will be others. Tomorrow we gotta get through the rally, but next week we'll be focused on training, the recruiting of them. So we're gonna try to provide as much coverage as we can. But it's a challenge. It's expensive. It's a lot of people to try to logistically manage, but we're working hard to have coverage. We are going to focus our coverage in those very remote areas because that's where we believe the cheating takes place, like in the southeast, for example, right? You know, in Monrovia, Steve, in Atlanta, Tottenburg, you have a lot of international observers, a lot of political parties will have people in those urban areas. Is when you get into the remote parts of Nimba and Bong and the southeast and stuff, that's where the funny stuff takes place. So we'll focus our efforts there, but we'll try to have coverage everywhere. But we're focusing on those remote areas. But it's a challenge, and we'll do our best we can. This is why I go back lastly. I know I talked long here. The government is responsible for free, fair, and transparent election. His own President Weah and his commissioners to make sure they don't try to deny us. That's why the fact that the voter roll is not out yet is shame on President Weah, shame on the election commission, because that's why we make so nervous about this election.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cummings.
So, Steve, we already hit the 2 hours mark, Mr. Cummings. We promised him 2 hours, and the only last question, and then that will be followed by your closing comment, Mr. Cummings. That is, our friends, well-wishers, and followers are asking us to ask you in this public manner: will you give SKTV a post-election interview? Because they want to know, they want to know exactly what's going on. And for the fact that they are follower and supporter and fans of SKTV, they are asking us to ask you in this public manner to promise SKTV that you will grant us a post-election interview. First interview.
I will say in this public manner, I will grant SKTV a post-election interview. It may or may not be the first, because I may do something local for the first on the ground, but I will grant SKTV a post-election interview. Now, what is the first, second, third? I can't say it, but it will happen. I will come back on your show, and it will be among the top 3 or so interviews after the elections. But so I will come on your show, but may not be the first.
It may or may not be. That's fine. We will take that. So yeah, you can close, Mr. Cummings. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you. So let me thank you guys for, again, another spirited interview. Let me first encourage Liberians to come out tomorrow. Come and let's send a message to Liberia, Liberians, the international community, that we are ready for change. We're ready for victory. Let's let President Weah and the former Vice President know that Liberians are picking a better future. So let's come out tomorrow. Let's do it peacefully. Let's be safe. Let's come get President Weah that red card so that we can get him off the pitch and replace him with a government that will restore good governance, economic growth to our country. This is the promise from Councillor Charlene Bronson and myself: a government of clean hands, a government of integrity, a government that will create jobs, a government that will invest in agriculture, will fix the educational system, will fix the healthcare system, will make sure people are paid on time, are paid consistently. We will make sure we fix roads and traffic and sanitation. That's who you'll be electing, and we promise you will see a difference in your lives when you elect us and we take your oath of office in January 2024. So thank you again, gentlemen, and we'll see you post-election. Good night.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cummings. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Melbourne. So, folks, we are going to have a post-election conversation, post-interview analysis, post-interview conversation. If you wish to take part, to be a part of that, you can call in. And those are our friends who are around and want to come on camera to form part of this.
We are leaving for,
and we're leaving the radio right now. I'm trying to add that. We're leaving the radio, so anybody, if you wish to join us, message Steve. We will send you the link so you can form part of this post-interview conversation. Maybe I want to thank you. I want to thank the management and team of Truth FM. We are grateful. And hopefully we'll be here tomorrow to cover the program. We'll be live at 2 p.m. in Liberia, which will be a little bit earlier than our usual time, but we'll be live. We will carry the program tomorrow by our own arrangement with our collaboration with Truth FM. So we'll have reporters, around to cover the program tomorrow. and we'll have our normal show as well that we'll be discussing post program tomorrow. So tomorrow going to be a very busy day for SKTV. Maybe one thank you, and thank you guys, all of you at Truth FM.
Thank you so much. A good night. We gotta go and rest our. But even though
why you wearing yellow? Are you wearing yellow? What is going on?
so cool. Mama, you I got problem with. How can you wearing go and wearing go? No, Steve, I have serious problem with you. And you know,
Okay.
we got as a Baptist brothers. Mama, you gonna check? Huh?
We're discussing behind closed door.
Hey man, remember, yeah, we're gonna say, remember that weekend, yeah,
It will hold. It will hold.
Yeah, you gotta hold, man. Yeah, man. Segunda, you know, segunda, you know, I mean, you know,
Me, I just watching you laughing.
Yeah, man. So thank you.
The two Baptist brothers.
Okay, you know, he said, "Oh, they're my brothers. Don't go away from me." And then
Open grow. The biggest open grow in town. Open grow.
Thank you. See you, man. See you.
All right, folks. Thank you so much to all of you. Steve.
Yeah.
People that ask they want to join us. If you don't mind, you can send them the link. Yeah, I think Letty Robert Brooks want to come on to form part of the post interview analysis. If you have the link, you send it to her. If not, I will try to do so. And also check your inbox if you have any request. Let's bring some people on so we can have a conversation.
Yes.
Yeah. You have anybody that you want to send it to?
No, not yet. I got to find a link. I know you sent it to me, but I just log in directly. So
yeah, no, I send it to you on your messenger, so it's easy to send it.
Oh, okay. Let me double check.
You go to your messenger and send it to whoever that is requesting.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh man, I just saw a message from Ruth Robert. That was way after the
Letty Brooks Roberts, right?
Yeah, send it to her.
Letty, I sent it to you.
Oh man, Ruth, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I just see your messages after when I close when Mr. Cummings already left. I'm so sorry. I did not. Sometimes you guys need to call my direct number if you really, because you guys are big fans and supporters of SKTV. So if you have any crucial, don't just follow regular, calls. Just call my phone directly. You have my direct number. Call me. I'm sorry that I missed your.
So, Mr. Kennedy, to the interview, I think, and again, this I'm about to get beat for this here, but I think the confidence level of Mr. Cummings, the CPP, and some Liberians is boosted. I think so. And from what I'm hearing and from what I'm seeing, Mr. Kennedy, remember, I don't know if I sent you. I don't know if I don't want to play that person recording because I never got a permission from them. Can you imagine people reaching out in my inbox to asking me to please speak to because they've seen Mr. Cummings here or they listen to the show. If Truth FM, if you can please speak to CPP people so that they can get in contact with somebody just to get them sure. They never supported Cummings before. They never been in a whole Liberian election, but they definitely want to be part of this time around. And they got people that they were specific. Some of them are specific. They got 10 people. They got 12. They got 15 people. These are young people. These are older people who want to get involved. And let me say this. I'm not saying this here to say, oh, you want to inflict this other. I've never had that happen in my life for anybody to call me for any political party. And I do have the recording here. It's not a mistake. I sent it to somebody from the CPP so that they can handle it from that side and do what they need to do. What I'm saying in essence is this. The Liberian people are tired. They're tired when they read my role with Unity Party, CDC. They want something different. And it wouldn't be a shocker for me, to be quite honest. It wouldn't be a surprise. The same way how it wasn't a surprise for me when Darius Dillon beat Thomas Fowler. It was never about popularity. It was all about the people who wanted change at the time. They didn't want Thomas Fala. And the people have gotten so afraid now. Some people are even some people work in the government. Mr. Kane, can you imagine? They're even intimidated to talk in public or to come around. But they're not going to vote for CDC. They're not going to vote for Unity Party. Look, the Liberian people are sick and tired of this seeing 6 and 7 and Rigma Rogue. If you think that joke, you will see the result of the election. The people are tired. They don't want to do the Joseph Boaka. They don't want to do the Prince Johnson. They don't want to do the other rebel group. They don't want to do the other rebel group. They don't want to be in noise. The people are tired. They want something different, something new. They want responsible people. Look, the people are tired. And the reflection of this will be in the election. You will be shocked. You will be shocked. Some people are disappointed as we speak about how things are going. Some people are disappointed. They are highly disappointed in how the Unity Party conducted themselves. And let me say this. I know we're going to be talking about post-election. Tomorrow we'll talk about it. The Unity Party contributed and provoked this entire thing. The press conference that Mo Ali and what the other young men he had, the Secretary General, what he need. All of them just get funny faces, so he had to really pick up on them because they come in public as young as they are. They deliberately lied and deceived people. I don't support the CDC. I'm not, y'all know I've said it over and over. President George Weah needs to go. But you don't behave in your desperation, like Boaka said, like Joseph Boaka said, that there will be no country. No, you don't behave that way in your desperation. You don't act that way. This entitlement syndrome must go away. It must go away. And the way for this to go away, the Liberian people must vote against Joseph Boaka. It must do it. Yeah, that funny men, they get funny things so to really something they have. Yeah. Funny, you can see that they're not even coordinated in the press conference. I listen to the press conference. You know, you don't behave in that way, in that manner, because you are desperate to come to power and you feel entitled. You're wasting the Liberian people time. And the Liberian people, I know for a fact, will not do this recycle thing. No, we got to move past these people. Let them go somewhere with the nonsense. They won't go for a war. They won't go destroy country. Let them go to other countries that are around and let them carry that thing in there. But it will not happen in Liberia because they will both be voted out. The CDC and the Unity Party, they can never be options. They have never been options, and they are not a way forward. People have Letty here. Letty, well, we can see your face. What is going on? You wear that.
Why you can see my face?
That Google challenge, you on the Google challenge? Hey, now we can see your face. Why you gotta be? Allow me to tell you hiding?
No, I'm not hiding. I'm in my car. I was out and about, but I want to accept this challenge because I want to tell the Liberian people that Cummings that we want. Okay. And this is the 11th hour. If they don't hear this message, I don't know what to say.
Okay. So first of all, what is your take on the interview / conversation with Mr. Cummings today?
Awesome. The man is giving you his what, his how, his 90-day, his 30-day. I mean, specifics. He's not saying, he's not giving you acronyms and just staying by that. He's telling you how he's going to do these things. From the little man to the big man, everybody is included. It's an inclusive plan. It's a Liberian plan. And until you have thought about it to give somebody a chance, I was thinking about this in the sense that when we bring people to speak to us, if they don't motivate us or they don't tell us anything, do you hear the crowd move? No, because there was nothing. They were just talking. But when somebody tells you what they're going to do for you and you don't listen, then it's on you. So Liberian people, you have come and you have seen what is happening to you right now. And we're not going to deny there are few of you that are enjoying this government. But that's not how it's supposed to be. All Liberians are supposed to be part of this government. Every household of Liberia should be a part of any government because the government is inclusive of the people. We are the government, just like we are the church. We are so pressed on Christianity and our beliefs, religion. So if you know that when you come to church, if you don't come, there is no church. So there's the same way. If you don't come to this to this leadership, there'll be no government. It shouldn't be the government of few people. We all have come far.
Let me ask you this question, because somebody might say, well, Levy, this is now you're one talking, a personal thing, you're not in Liberia, you not get voting card. What from what you've said, based on what you know and based on the facts that are available to the public, right?
Right.
What are you doing to ensure that this message that you are propagating reaches to other people?
I speak to people that I know. I'm happy to be a part of a platform where we tell the stories, tell them the sad things that are happening. But most importantly, I am speaking to the people in the Southeast where I hail from. And it's not a Southeasterner thing, because one time I was somewhere and I said that I'm for Cummings. The first thing someone jumps at me is, oh, because he's from the Southeast. No, the current leadership, most of them are from the Southeast. What have they done for us? And I have come toe to toe with people who said no Southeasterner should be president again. I said no. It's an individual thing. When someone tells you or shows you who they are, you believe them. Mr. Cummings has told us what he's going to do. I talk to people who come from my area. Just what he said, the port of Harper. Why is it sitting there dormant, harboring drugs, when we can use it interstate to move goods around? Why should the people in the Southeast pay twice as much because they are not privy to the things that are in the country? No, everyone should have an equal playing field. When you have a president who is so low-minded that it's all about himself, that he wants to take a helicopter to his place of birth, what does it say about the rest of the people? How do they get there? Yeah, that's why I am so happy that we have somebody. And let me also point this out. Mr. Cummings has lived his life just like George Weah in his first round. God bless them with first careers. Unlike George Weah, Mr. Cummings is coming. He has come and given to this country. People want to know what has he given? Well, he has been subtle with what he has given or what he has done. It's because of this naivety where people want to know what you do. Not all of us boast of what we do, okay? But he has done so much to give back. And as all of us, I am a living witness. I came here when I was a younger girl, and it tore me away from my family. Every time I tell the story, I get emotional. I said, no, I don't want to be here, even though it's a land of opportunity. But as a young person, you look at your peers, the people you're growing up with, that's who you want to grow up with. That's what you want to be. And after I left my country, Mr. Brother Moses, I cannot go back. I lay down in my sleep and cry. I can't go back to my homeland because I got to go through other places. That is wrong for any country. Okay? We have 50 states here. You can get on any highway and travel if you want to go from today to next week. As long as you're willing to drive, you will get to where you want to go. Why we're not able to go to our homeland? When I went to Liberia in 2013, I went with a group. Part of that group is this very Len Eugene Nangwe. Sister was leading that group. Okay? I had to choose between going because I knew if I went there, it would take us long to come back, or take care of my sick mother, who, by the way, died and couldn't go back to her home. Then you know our people, when they die, they want to go and live where either their husband is or where they hail from. We couldn't take my mother there. My mother said, it's okay, my children. Before she died, we had that conversation because we saw where the country was going. She said, if I don't go lay in my place, that's fine. Whenever you'll come, wherever I am, you'll come and see us. All those things bother you as you get older, to know that you cannot go where you come from. Liberian people, you'll stop this.
All right. Thank you so much, Levy. We appreciate your time. We appreciate you coming on. But the way you it kind of that shit you wear now. They say you are
Yeah.
part of the rescue team. Because they say the
No,
book can wear the goggles. Because the
don't
book
put
can
me
wear
on
the
no
goggles
rescue. That rescue tree is called the gravy tree.
because
Those
the
people on
people
that tree, they're looking for gravy. I am here
say
to rescue where I come from. I want
the
to
people,
go where I
the
come
people
from. I want
say
a place.
Joe, we are saying we are saying you can wear the goggles because so people will not detect that you're sleeping. So make sure you're not sleeping.
All right, let me put my other goggles on. You can see my eyes.
You can see your eye, you're not sleeping. I can see
All
it.
right. No, I'm not sleeping.
So let's
It's
thank
that time to
you so
sleep.
much.
We got 10 days. Well, not 10 days. 10 days. There's no time to sleep, Liberian people. Mr. Sekou, you guys have done a great job making this case, and it's no joke. I am going to get in my regalia, my Cummings that we won regalia. I will do my own show if none of y'all invite me to let the people know. And like again, like the U.S. government, everything. Oh, yeah, we happy the people right. The man say, "Carpe diem." Liberian people, you got options. Take the options. You're not gonna come back here just like you're doing now, talking, "Oh, Papa, we sorry." 6 years from now, say, "Oh, Cummings, we beg you." No, just stop it. Make
All
the
right.
decision now.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Levy, and we appreciate your time. Okay. Thank you so much.
Sekou, correction is Letty, not Levy.
I say Letty. Steve is the one that said Levy. I know the
Okay.
difference.
Yeah, Levy is.
I know the both of you. I know Letty is you. Levy is Levy Thompson. That's one of my good friends as well.
Letty, sorry, I take it back.
It was Steve that actually called you.
If Steve keep doing that, I will bring the receipts. I have a picture with him. And
Yes,
I will display it.
that's
And
true.
then
That's true.
then he will know who
Yep.
Levy and who Letty.
Lord. Let's wait after the election.
Thank you, Letty. We appreciate your time.
But people who get picture.
Yeah. Well, Steve, if you mispronounce the people name again, they will put you in a situation.
Any attempt.
So Steve, I think we had a very good interview. I really enjoyed the conversation, the questioning, and everything from you, from Melbourne, and the public. It was great, and Mr. Cummings, his answers were really, really, really on point. And at least for those who with the ear to hear, those with the eyes to see, and those with the brain to understand. No offense, no offense intended. But I want to say thank you to all of you for following SKTV. We really, really appreciate your time. We'll be here tomorrow. Like we said, we will follow the program. Tomorrow, we will carry it live on SKTV. We'll have no rest tomorrow. So today, while we're on, a few of you actually send a token of appreciation. Somebody sent $20, and they all say, for support of Mr. Cummings on the other cash app. And then the other one, people say also send a few donation to SKTV and saying that no name, but they just did it for to support SKTV. We really, really appreciate your donation to SKTV. We have said this before and we'll repeat, regardless of the amount, anything you send to us, we appreciate it. Because whether or not your donation will still be here. So your donation is something that we appreciate because it shows us that you are appreciative of what we do and you want us to keep on going. So like we said, before, during, and after the election, SKTV is here to stay. Regardless of who is in power, we are here to stay. When and if Mr. Cummings wins the election, we will still be here to hold his feet to fire. That time some of you will be angry at us. And whoever wins the election, if Jogwia wins again, we will still be here. So regardless of who is in power, SKTV is here to stay. And we appreciate all of you that been supporting SKTV behind the scene or in public. We appreciate you. Steve, unless you have something else to say, I think we can call it a day and get ready for other activities. Today is the weekend, it's Saturday,
Yes,
and we have a lot going on today. So
we have a lot going on in our town here. We also have a general meeting today, but we also have the brother club, the Atai, and then they invited me to another event again. You know, our campaign town was so start on the side, so
yeah.
So there's a lot going on. But folks, let me say this. We want to encourage you. We want to encourage you to do what is right. I'll keep saying this. I might sound like my man can say, my boy Cyrus can say a broken record. You want anything that will be peaceful, prosperous, better in Liberia. Avoid Unity Party, Joseph Boyka, CDC, Chowia. Let me say again. Avoid, you want violent-free election. You want violent-free result from the election. Avoid these two people. Don't vote for them. Don't even look. Don't even waste your time with them, because as you can already see, one of them feel like they must go to second round. They must come back for 6 years again to get it on a 12 year, because the other people are there 12 years, and the other people are saying no. Y'all spoil the country the way we spoil it. You're not spoil it that way. So y'all get Ocha and will come back after 12 years. So the noise between them. Y'all leave CDC and United Party with a bad luck. Let them go somewhere else with that foolishness. Y'all lead them with a bad luck. Let me tell you this today. Joseph Boyka don't care. And yeah, Joseph Boyka don't care. Joseph Boyka got nothing to lose in the voting. He got nothing to lose in the voting. Joseph Boyka care less. Let me tell you that again. Joseph Boyka ain't got nothing to lose in this thing. You don't go Unity Party, Joseph Boyka, CDC, Jowia, where your leader let it go the ballot, the fighting, the rebel there, and all the noise they bring in. Let's put our country back on a better path. We have options, and we have good options with good people, with credible records to prove. And I know shady records. That's what I want to say. Thank you so much, folks.
All right. So tomorrow, those of you who are supporters or sympathizers or fan of the CPP, you are invited to go to the ATS tomorrow. I think they say the time is 2 p.m., but you can start heading there way before that. ATS, that's the Antoinette Talkman Stadium. That is right there behind right behind that market on Clay Street there. Or the one, or you can say right there by you and Raf, going behind the barrier is behind the place there. So all of you know the place. ATS, the Antonin Topman Stadium. That they got two big sports stadium in Monrovia. The first one that all of us used to go to before they built the SKTV. I mean, SKD. Before they built the SKD, that was the one that all the international games used to play. Coming up, that was the stadium. I used to live very close by. I even used to walk. I used to live right on Clay Street. I used to walk to go and watch practices. Also, real game. So it's right there in the city. It's not far away from many of you that live in the city. And if you want to be there, you got to go there earlier. You got to start driving. You know, Labrador got traffic. Most especially most of the Moravia guy, the traffic is Moravia too crazy. So all of you'll go there. You'll go there. Yeah, somebody just, how I think here, Rallytown Market. It's been a minute, so that ain't there. But that market so not used to be there. Oh. Yeah. But I hope they will clean the place. Yeah, you'll tell your family then to be there. All of you'll tell your people to be there. And we'll be here tomorrow to bring you the program. Hopefully, we will have fun tomorrow. And we will also be here to have our regular show to discuss what will happen tomorrow. We thank you for your time. We thank you for your support. We appreciate you. And we will see you tomorrow. Let me do this. I will play some kind of song here. But look at somebody don't want me to play that song. Oh. Yeah, so where is that song? I don't see that song, so let me just play some kind of song right here. Let's do this right here.
Oh, na 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 na.
Just let people them.
D12 on the beat. I know they send you to monitor. Go try them say you not see me, yo. I know they send you to slow me down. Go try them say you not see me, yo. Doubting you. Doubting pinching you, yeah, yeah. You choose to live, you want to live. I choose to live, I want to live. Oh, yeah. Doubting you. Oh, yeah. Doubting choking you, yeah, yeah. If I'm not making money and not making sense, if I'm not getting bread, I'm not going there, yeah. Get me where, oh yeah, get me where. I'm moving up, I'm never coming down, yeah. Get me where, get me where. I'm going up, I'm never coming down, yeah. I know they send you to slow me down.
I want, za. Party, see party house. Stand up, barrel, stand up, barrel. Well. Who you want? My Liberian people, who you want? Our market women crying, who you want? Our Ghana boys are crying, who you want? Yoba. Handkerchief. Take out your white handkerchief. Let's go. Everybody sing go far. Whoa. Look back and they say that coming where we want. But me can't coming where we want. Very like they coming where we want. Nima can't coming where we want. Basa can't that coming where we want. Get my can't that coming where we want. Papa, we there, I say that coming when we want. Regular, I can't say that coming what we want. My Liberian people, who you want? Musability, I say who you want. Mama Teresa comes, who you want? I am little more up, how you want? Well. CPP, oh yeah. Adabe. Oh. ANC Global, oh yeah. Mommy can't tell who you want. Papa can't tell that who you want. Sana can't tell that who you want. Rebel G can't tell that who you want. I am the Yakula who you want. A butter well who you want. If I join your party that fall, that why your color speed. I think you call us me with everybody. My Liberian people, who you want? My Yana boss, who you want? My girl women, that who you want? My better.
All right, folks, we say thank you to all of you for following SKTV. We say thank you all to all of you. That was a great interview. And those of you who, even when I was actually closing, when I was playing the music, somebody said it was $50, saying to support SKTV, and they said they want to remain anonymous. I want to say thank you. You know, I was actually off camera, but decided to come back on just to tell the person thank you for sending that $50 to SKTV. We appreciate the support. We appreciate all of you. The recognition, the support, the gratitude, we appreciate it. The more you show us some level of appreciation, especially, to call us, to tell us thank you, to encourage us, sometimes, some instances to support us financially, sometimes just to check on us if you don't see us on. Those are things that really, really that keep us moving. We really appreciate you guys for the fact that you recognize our effort. We hope your desire, your heart desire, outcome, you get it in this election, because it's tough. A lot going on. But you know what? God knows the winner already. The next president is already designated by God the Almighty. So all we do is to pray for the betterment of our country. Whoever God chooses, for that person's hand to be the rightful hand that can really strengthen the country. May God bless Liberia. May God give all of us good health and long life to see what's going to happen on October 10th and beyond. Thank you so much. We will definitely be here tomorrow. We love you all and see you tomorrow.